some people might be a little angry with me because I'm going to talk about Christine.
You're out of here! What?
And I get it, I understand, but I gotta walk it like I talk it and call it like I see it. So at the end of the day, I gotta be me, baby. Let me be me, let me be free. So I'm going in and I'm going to talk about it.
I'm coming in.
Now, in last week's episode, we had an opportunity to see a conversation between Janelle and Christine, and they were talking about Janelle leaving Kody and her progression as far as that separation is concerned. Let's take a listen to some of the complications or some of the difficulties that they were experienced during the course of that conversation, and I'm going to give my thoughts on the other side.
Why don't you have a conversation with him and tell him it's over?
I've been trying to talk to him about the land, and he keeps putting me off, keeps like, can't talk for this reason, and then that reason passes, and then he can't talk for another reason. And so it's like...
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, you need to make that call.
So this is what frustrates me. Christine comes into town and she starts grilling me and expects my breakup to look just like hers and to cross off all these boxes that hers did. And it's a very different relationship, and it's come apart very differently.
Now you can see from Janelle's response that she's a little tight. She's a little upset about how this conversation is progressing and some of the things that Christine is saying to her. And I don't necessarily blame her, because one of the complications in talking to a friend or counseling a friend or discussing with a friend about them leaving their particular situation is the realization they are in a different situation than you may have been. Even though you may have been in similar situations, in this particular case, they were in a family together. They were married to the same man, but they had different relationships. When you're talking to a friend, you always have to keep in mind that that's your friend's situation and not your situation. So you have to see your friend and not see yourself in your friend or your complications or difficulties. Part of what Christine was saying was that she wants Janelle to check certain boxes. That's how Janelle described it. And I don't necessarily disagree. She wants Janelle's breakup to look just like her breakup. But the truth of the matter is, these two women are in very different places. They're in very different places, not because Janelle is closer to Kody or whatever the case may be, but they're in different places because even if you look at just strictly status of where these ladies are financially upon possibly leaving. Christine was sitting on top of a piece of property that she owned. She had a home. She could look at her friend and say, you know what? This isn't working out with me and Kody. I'm going to tell Kody it's over. So when it was time for Kody to go, she just packed up Kody's stuff. She put it in the garage, let Kody know that it was over. She had a whole conversation with him. Kody, we're done. You're leaving. You're out of here. I'm moving. I'm going to get on with my life, so on and so forth. Janelle is in a different situation because Janelle is closer to what traditional polygamous families have in place. Everything that she has, everything that she's invested in is tied up with other people. She doesn't have a piece of property without somebody else's name on it. So when she's having these conversations with Kody, it can't be the cut and dry, I'm leaving you, I'm done, I'm out of here conversation. Because if she has that conversation with Kody, Kody could very well tie up Kody Pass and say, you know what, the hell with it then. We're not paying off Kody Pass. My name appears on every parcel of land on Kody Pass. And I do not authorize any building or any permanent structures accessed on that land. Period, point blank, the end. Even if Janelle went back and paid the land off, she would need Kody's permission to build on it. That's the way the land is structured. That's the way the land is titled. Everything else doesn't matter. There's also a point where if we listen to what Christine is saying, she's saying that you guys are married and you guys have this bond and this relationship. Janelle is a little more practical. And she understands that they don't have a marriage. Technically, the marriage itself was a symbol of their religion, their faith. But in real life terms, in real civil terms, in real legal terms, you just his baby mama. That's as far as that went. He's never been married to Christine nor Janelle. The only person who could claim like ex-wife, true ex-wife status is Mary, because Mary was actually married to him. So that status is different. We also have to look at the realities of there being a different family structure and their relationships being different. When Kody looked at Christine, Christine was the family planning wife. She was the event wife. When she was the young wife, she was the young fun wife. For the most part, Christine served a very different purpose than Janelle served. Janelle was the closest thing to a equal as far as Kody was concerned, at least from my read of the situation. She was the one who he could talk to about finances, business. She was the one that he could talk to about money coming into the family. Janelle has a different relationship with Kody and all. Even when you talk about the children growing up, if we look at those family dynamics, Christine was the wife who had all the girls, save Peyton. Janelle was the wife who had all the boys, save Madison and Savannah. She had 4 of Kody's sons, 4 of the 5 Kody's natural sons at that time when they were coming up together at Lehigh. When you go back to like the previous seasons and you listen to Kody talk about it, and even the wives, how they talked about it, they said that Kody is great with the boys. Kody even admitted, I'm great with the boys because we could always talk about sports and cars. And if you look at Janelle's makeup of her kids, she had her first 2 kids, and this is a little inside baseball and kind of what I suspect. Her first 2 kids, Logan and Hunter. Logan playing football, doing wrestling, was pretty decent from what I understand as far as wrestling was concerned. I didn't really hear too much about football. Hunter, he was a state champion, just like Kody, because Kody was also a state champion in wrestling. Played football. So his first 2 sons from Janelle were the jocks. So when he's like, Kody and his pride and his ego, he gets to go to the football field and he gets to go to the wrestling tournaments and point out, that's my son right there. Those are my boys. And get to wear the jacket and talk about his former glory and how his sons are taking up the mantle. And then because Garrison and maybe Gabe, I didn't really hear too much about them being like fantastic sports people. I think at one point in Vegas, Gabe did have scouts who were talking about coming down and checking him out. So he probably was pretty decent, pretty good. But I didn't hear anything about him in Arizona. And that could have been a break in why he wasn't necessarily chasing behind those 2 young men the way he was with Hunter and Logan. But the experience that Janelle would have, they have 2 different parenting experiences as mothers. And there are women out there who can attest to this. They may have children and the father of their children has kids with somebody else, and he treats those kids, he's over their house all the time, talking to them, playing with them and doing things with them because they have things in common, and he gets along with their mother in a different way. But because he doesn't get along with the other mom a certain way, or those kids aren't doing things that he necessarily likes or enjoys, he doesn't spend time with them. So it could very well be the same case with Christine's household with her kids versus Janelle's household with her kids. So these women are approaching their relationships with Kody from a very different perspective and a different position. There's also the point where we look at Isabel and her surgery. If we want to be true jerks about it, and the same way Christine can look at Janelle and say, you need to leave him because of the way he treated you, I can look at Christine's situation and recall back to this particular instance with Kody, where some women would have been out the door.
I was overwhelmed with everything. I still had to produce some sort of income. So I was working at night, and Aspen in 5th grade was tucking the kids in bed at night, 10 years old, running the house after I'd leave for work. And I asked Kody, I said, I need your help. And he goes, I can't do that. I'm in other houses. I'm like, we live in one house. You just can't come over and tuck my kids in bed and talk to them and put them in bed? And he said, no, I just can't.
Now, as explained in that situation, you have a guy who is in the house with your kids and doesn't want to go down next door, or not even next door, to the next room, because it's basically that house, even though it was set up like an apartment complex with different locations for people's different separate houses, it's basically a big house with different rooms. This guy wouldn't even go to another room to check on his kids. His kids. Not just Christine's kids, his kids. These are his kids too. He had his 10-year-old in there checking on, taking care of babies and stuff. And he was okay with it. There are women who would have walked out on him as soon as he would have said no. There are women who, after Christina's working overnight, slaving overnight, and then having to watch kids during the day because that was part of her job too as the caregiver. And then she had to go to work overnight, and then she's begging Kody to come and check on the kids and make sure they don't burn the damn house down. And he's too busy and he doesn't want to give her that. And then he goes and gets himself a girlfriend. And he spends the night that he's in there talking to Christine about what's going on with him and his girlfriend and how he's missing his girlfriend and how he wish he could spend time with his girlfriend. And then he leaves on Friday night to get in his car to drive 5 hours to his girlfriend's house so he could spend the weekend with her and her kids. And he can't even watch your kids. There are women that would have walked out on him then. He would have came back to a empty ass apartment. She would have took the damn paintings off the wall. She'd have took the rugs off the floor. He would have had nothing in that. He would have walked back there. That whole house would have been stripped down to the dang on studs. She'd have took the drywall off the damn place. She'd took everything because she would have been so frustrated. But she stayed. And there were instances where they went to Lehigh and she ran into her aunt who was talking about polygamy and saying that Christine deserved more. And Christine said that she was scared and it wasn't safe for her to even talk to her aunt because she criticized or questioned her relationship with Kody. So she has to understand that when you criticize Janelle is in that same place. She's in that same defensive place. And there's also a big thing that I wanted to bring up. And again, I'm not trying to go ham on Christine. I'm not going crazy. That's not why I'm doing this. I just like to call it like I see it. Called balls and strikes. There is a point where we recognize that part of the reason why Janelle is there is because of the land and what she owns. Here's my thing. Christine is taking a position and was super strong in her departure, which I give her a lot of credit for. I think it took a lot of guts for her to leave and she did the right thing. However, if we're really going to start drilling down on it and we really look at it, why didn't Christine sign her part of Kody Pass over to Janelle? Why didn't you give her the $10 title swap on the land? Put her name on that big piece of land where the so-called pond is supposed to be. That 5-something acres of land. Let's take a look at what the map said as far as how they describe the division of the land.
So the first 2-acre lot right now is Kody and I. The second 2-acre lot is Kody and Robin. The third is a 4-acre lot, and it's Mary, myself, and Kody. And then the 5-acre lot, because Christine quitclaimed it, is Kody and Robin.
Again, if Christine was that, I'm going to leave and I'm going to just do as much damage as possible because I'm just a roughneck rebel and I'm going to do what I want to do. Screw you, Kody. And she could have signed that land over to Janelle. She didn't, because what she did was she bought her freedom with that land. She said to Kody, I'm going to give you that land so that you don't claim my house. By all rights, her name was on the land. Her name was on the house. She was actually in a power position the same way Kody is in a power position on Kody Pass. Your name is on the document. Your name is on ownership. If his name doesn't appear on the house, he doesn't have anything to say with what she does with that house and how she does it. He hasn't made not one payment. Technically, if we're going to keep it all the way a stack, it doesn't matter if he's been making every payment. If her name is the only name on the deed, she's the owner of the house. Point blank, period. And this is one of the challenges that Janelle feels, because she's in that weird place where she's really trying not to level out on Kody, to unload on him, because if she does, she may put herself in a position where she actually have to fight him to try to get Kody Pass. I think she's slowly realizing that she's coming to a point where she's going to have to fight him over Kody Pass, so she has to hire a lawyer. She's going to have to do some low down dirty things to him. She's going to have to put them things on him. But she was trying to avoid that because she was trying to do it in a way where she could finesse it out of him, finesse him to do the right thing. And I think that for the most part, where Christine is, she doesn't see that because she didn't have to do that. And part of the reason she didn't have to do that is, if we're going to, in no small order, because of the things and the safety and security that Janelle helped to provide. Now, I don't want to be that guy who's coming down on Christine. Oh, she's a horrible person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not even saying that she's a horrible friend. I'm just saying to her, if she was my friend and Janelle was my friend, I would just merely remind Christine that her situation, Janelle's situation, is different from hers. And we have to respect not only her situation, but we have to respect her decisions. As a friend, if Janelle came back and said, you know what, I tried to be by myself and I'm going back to Kody, or, every once in a while, sis get a little lonely and I want homeboy to come by and do that thing, do them things to me, then it is what it is. Everybody grown in this situation. They got to make their own choices. They have to make their own decisions. Janelle has come to a point where she's decided to leave Kody. She's trying to leave with what she's owed. I respect that, and I respect her decisions because she's an adult. She gets to make the decisions and choices that she wants to make for her life. I know this might be a little controversial, but I'm anxious to hear what you guys think. Do you think I'm on point? Do you think I'm wrong? If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me the HBO special, help a brother out special. And if you definitely love this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let a brother know that you like what I'm doing. Helps with the algorithm and all that craziness. Thanks so much. Leave your comments down below. I want to hear your take. This has been My Take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life